Stoicism, a school of philosophy that emerged over 2,000 years ago, still retains its timeless value and enduring strength in guiding us through life's greatest challenges. This philosophy teaches that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we hold absolute power over how we choose to react. Calmness and resilience in the face of adversity are not innate superpowers, but skills that can be cultivated through the practice and understanding of Stoic principles. In today's ever-changing world, where uncertainty has almost become the only constant, Stoicism serves as a steadfast anchor, helping individuals find inner peace amidst the chaos. More than just theoretical ideas, Stoicism emphasizes practical action, living with clear purpose, building emotional resilience, and finding happiness from within rather than relying on external circumstances. What's remarkable is that Stoicism does not teach us to suppress or deny our emotions. Instead, it shows us how to recognize, understand, and master our emotions, enabling us to lead a more fulfilling and meaningful life. In today's video, we will dive deep into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, uncovering the core principles that can transform not only how you think, but also how you face life's everyday challenges. Whether you are searching for strength amidst life's storms or simply seeking more joy in your daily moments, don't miss this inspiring journey of discovery. 1. Control your reaction. Not the circumstances. A Stoic secret to peaceful living. In life, we often encounter countless unwanted situations. Traffic jams, bad weather, a negative comment, or unexpected events beyond our control. Our natural reflex is to feel frustrated, disappointed, or angry in the face of these situations. However, Stoic philosophy offers us a completely different perspective. We cannot control the circumstances, but we can always control our reaction to them. Epictetus, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This short yet profound quote contains a powerful lesson. Life doesn't always go our way, but our attitude in adversity is what truly determines our character and inner peace. Real-life examples. Traffic jam. You're in a rush to attend an important meeting and suddenly find yourself stuck in heavy traffic. Instead of getting angry or anxious, you can choose to stay calm, listen to a favorite podcast, or mentally review your upcoming presentation. The traffic jam remains, but you've managed your emotions and turned a frustrating delay into productive time. Bad weather. A long-awaited picnic gets canceled due to rain. You can choose to complain all day or adapt by organizing an indoor gathering, enjoying time with friends and family. When we stop resisting what we cannot change, we begin to truly enjoy life. Negative comments. On social media, anyone can receive criticism, sometimes harsh and unfair. A Stoic-minded person won't let those words dictate their emotions. Instead of reacting with anger or hurt, they ask themselves, is this feedback valuable? If it is, they learn from it. If not, they let it pass like the wind. How can we practice response control in daily life? First, identify the boundary of control. Whenever you face an unwanted situation, ask yourself, and is this within my control? If not, release the urge to change it. Redirect your energy to what you can adjust, yourself. Second, choose acceptance over resistance. Acceptance doesn't mean passivity or surrender. It means acknowledging reality as it is. When we stop fighting what is, our minds become clearer and more capable of finding positive solutions. Third, transform your emotions. When feeling angry or disappointed, take a deep breath, step back, and ask, will this reaction help me? Awareness of your emotions allows you to choose your response rather than be ruled by feelings. Fourth, view adversity as an opportunity. Stoics believe every challenge is a chance to develop virtues, patience, calmness, generosity. Every time you manage a negative reaction, you grow stronger. Life is like the ocean, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. We cannot command the wind, but we can adjust our sails. By mastering our reactions, we not only weather external storms, but also discover inner tranquility. So next time you face an unexpected event, from a delayed bus to an unwanted criticism, remember that you always have the power to choose your response. and that choice will shape your life. 2. Turning obstacles into opportunities. The art of transforming hardship through Stoic philosophy. Life is never a smooth road. No matter how careful we are, difficulties, failures, and setbacks will still arise. For many, these are reasons to hesitate or give up. But for those who embrace the spirit of Stoicism, obstacles are not the end. They are the beginning of growth. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and philosopher, captured this truth in one of his most timeless quotes. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What does that mean? Instead of complaining about what blocks us, we should see those very obstacles as precious opportunities to learn, to grow, and to achieve something greater. Obstacles are not meaningless. A closed door can lead you to another path, one that may be even better and more suited to you. Hardships don't come to crush us. They come to forge our will, our spirit, and our resilience. Real-life examples. Job application failure. You put in great effort preparing for an interview, only to be turned down. The disappointment is inevitable. But if you look deeper, you'll find that this failure forces you to reassess your skills, communication style, and preparation process. It reveals areas to improve and pushes you to explore more fitting and potentially better opportunities. No lesson is more valuable than one drawn from real experience. Personal conflict. Disagreements, arguments, even conflicts with others are unavoidable in life. But every such moment offers a chance to practice patience, improve listening, develop problem-solving skills, and most importantly, strengthen your emotional composure. Without these clashes, how else would we truly learn to connect with and understand others? How can we turn obstacles into opportunities every day? First, shift your perspective. When facing a setback, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" The right question opens the door to a proactive and positive mindset. Second, cultivate patience. Not everything can change overnight. Learning to stay committed to your goals in the face of difficulty is a priceless virtue that obstacles help you develop. Third, take action instead of complaining. Stoicism emphasizes action. When challenges arise, rather than getting swept away by negativity, focus on seeking solutions and keep moving forward, even if the steps are small. Fourth, build inner strength. Setbacks and failures are the ultimate test of your inner fortitude. With every time you rise after falling, you not only gain new skills, but also build unshakable confidence and character. Why is the obstacle the way? A perfect life without challenges might sound ideal, but in reality it would make us fragile, easily broken by the first storm. It is in those failures, shocks, and seemingly unbearable moments that we grow the most. Marcus Aurelius didn't just speak these words, he lived them. As an emperor, he faced war, plagues, and political schemes. Instead of collapsing under pressure, he used those adversities to shape himself into a great leader. His life proves that obstacles don't block our path. They help us evolve and go further. Life will always present moments that test your faith and strength. But remember, every obstacle you face isn't meant to stop you. It's meant to guide you toward a better version of yourself. So next time you stumble, rise, smile, and say to yourself, "Right here, right now is where my journey of growth begins." 3. Living in the present. The art of enjoying life through Stoic philosophy. We often spend a great deal of time dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Yet the more we immerse ourselves in what was or what might be, the more we lose the most precious thing of all, the present moment. Stoic philosophy teaches us that living fully in the present is the wisest and happiest way to live. Both Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, two of the greatest Stoic thinkers, emphasize that regret and anxiety only waste our lives. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "Do not let your mind be distracted by imaginings of the future or regrets about the past. Focus your entire attention on what you are doing now." Why is the present so important? Because only the present truly belongs to you. The past is gone, and the future hasn't yet arrived. Clinging to what has been or fearing what may come changes nothing. It only increases your anxiety and exhaustion. Living in the present doesn't mean living carelessly or without planning. On the contrary, it's a conscious, intentional way of being. It means giving your full attention to the moment at hand, cherishing every second and every action. Real-life examples. At work, instead of multitasking or worrying about unfinished tasks and looming deadlines, focus completely on what's in front of you. When you're fully present, you work more effectively and with less stress. In relationships, when speaking with loved ones, don't let your mind wander to emails or your phone. Truly listen. Be fully present. That's how meaningful, deep connections are created. In daily moments, when walking, feel each step. When drinking water, savor the cool taste. When watching the sunset, let your mind settle and soak in nature's wonder. Mindfulness, the key to living fully. In modern times, the concept of mindfulness is widely discussed, but in fact, it has existed since the days of the Stoic philosophers. Mindfulness is the art of living with attention and awareness in every moment. Seneca once advised, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." This serves as a powerful reminder. Life does not wait for us. If we are always caught up in what was or what's to come, we miss the very moment we are living. Practicing mindfulness each day is the most practical way to live in the present. Spend a few minutes daily sitting quietly, breathing deeply, and feeling each breath. When you work, just work. When you eat, just eat. Acknowledge your emotions and thoughts, but don't let them carry you away. The incredible benefits of living in the present. Reduce stress. Most anxiety comes from thinking about what hasn't happened yet. When you focus on the present, your mind feels lighter and clearer. Greater fulfillment. When you truly enjoy each moment, life feels more meaningful, even in its simplest parts. Stronger relationships. Being fully present shows others that you care and strengthens emotional connections. Improved productivity. A person who channels full attention into the task at hand always works faster, more accurately, and more creatively. How to start living in the present? First, notice when your mind drifts. Ask yourself, where am I right now? What am I thinking? This simple question helps bring your attention back to the now. Second, focus on what you can control. As Stoic philosophy teaches, we can only control our thoughts and actions, not what has passed or what hasn't come. Third, be gentle with yourself. You won't always stay 100% present, and that's perfectly okay. What matters is noticing when you stray and gently returning to the moment. Life doesn't exist in yesterday, nor does it wait for tomorrow. It unfolds here and now, in every breath, every heartbeat, every smile, every moment. If you want to live a full and meaningful life, don't let your mind wander too far. Come back to the present. Treasure it, because the present is the most precious gift life has to offer. 4. Self-discipline, the key to unlocking true freedom. When we hear the word discipline, many people immediately think of restriction, pressure, and a loss of freedom. But to Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, discipline was not a chain. It was the path to true freedom. Indeed, self-discipline doesn't limit you. It liberates you. It allows you to live by your values and pursue long-term goals instead of being swept away by short-term temptations and fleeting emotions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "The true victor is the one who conquers himself." Why is discipline so important? Every day, we face choices, hit snooze or get up early, work or scroll through social media, eat healthily or give in to instant cravings. Without discipline, we're easily pulled into short-term habits, letting long-term goals fade away. Without self-control, we become slaves to emotions, desires, and circumstances. Seneca emphasized, the only truly free person is the one who masters themselves. Freedom is not doing whatever we want, whenever we want. Freedom is the ability to choose what's right for ourselves, even when it's difficult. How can we build discipline? Self-discipline isn't something you're born with. It's a skill that can be developed day by day. The secret lies in starting with small, consistent actions. Here are some practical steps. First, define your values and clear goals. You need to know what you truly want in life. When your goal is strong enough, it gives you the motivation to stay disciplined. Second, start small. Don't set overly ambitious expectations right away. Instead of trying to change everything overnight, begin with small habits. 5 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of exercise, 15 minutes of deep work. Third, set up a supportive environment. Environment shapes behavior. If you want to focus, keep your phone out of reach. If you want to eat better, stock healthy food in advance. Fourth, be persistent and patient. Discipline is the result of accumulation. Don't be discouraged if you slip up. What matters isn't perfection, but the persistence to get back up after each fall. Fifth, reward yourself. When you maintain a good habit, give yourself a small reward. This reinforces motivation and makes discipline more enjoyable. Real-life examples. In work, discipline helps you complete big projects step by step instead of procrastinating until the last minute. In health, discipline in exercise and eating well builds physical endurance and mental clarity. In finances, discipline in spending and saving leads to financial freedom instead of the burden of debt. The benefits of developing self-discipline. Greater control over your life. You're no longer swayed by every emotion or passing temptation. Achievement of long-term goals. Whether it's in career, health, or learning, every major success requires persistence. Increase self-confidence. When you know you can manage your behavior, you trust yourself more deeply. Living true to your values, discipline helps you act according to what you believe in, instead of being ruled by circumstances. Building self-discipline is not about harshly imposing rules on your life. It's about giving yourself the power to choose actively, stay committed to meaningful pursuits, and become the best version of yourself. Stoic philosophy teaches us, he who masters himself is the strongest of all. If you truly seek freedom, happiness, and success, start today with one small, consistent action. Because it is through those small steps repeated daily that an extraordinary life is built. 5. Emotional resilience, the strong shield amid life's storms. Life is full of surprises and challenges. We cannot control everything that happens, but we can control how we feel and respond. That is the foundation of emotional resilience, one of the most essential virtues that Stoic philosophy encourages us to develop. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius emphasized, it's not what happens to you that defines you, but how you respond to it. Stoicism teaches that we don't deny emotions. We learn to understand and regulate them. Through emotional awareness, we can respond calmly and rationally instead of being driven by impulsive feelings. What is emotional resilience? Emotional resilience is the ability to face hardship, failure, or emotional pain with composure, without falling apart or losing direction. It doesn't mean you never feel anxious and angry or anxious. It means you don't let those emotions overwhelm or define you. A person with high emotional resilience will accept negative emotions instead of suppressing them. Find healthy ways to understand and manage those feelings. Return to emotional balance quickly after difficult events. Self-awareness. The first step to emotional mastery. Stoicism emphasizes that in order to manage emotions, we must first identify and understand them. This requires observing ourselves closely. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Is this emotion coming from the event itself or from how I interpret the event? By asking these questions, you create distance from your emotions rather than being consumed by them. You stop being a victim of anger, anxiety, or disappointment. You become the observer, the one in control. Respond, don't react. A core teaching of Stoicism is this: respond, don't react. Reactions are impulsive and unfiltered. They often lead to negative consequences. Responses, on the other hand, are intentional. They come from conscious choice, guided by reason and values. Examples. When criticized, instead of instantly becoming angry or defensive, you calmly listen and consider whether there's room for improvement. When you fail, instead of giving up, you see the failure as a lesson and a step toward growth. Aristotle and the Golden Mean Principle beyond Stoicism. Aristotle also stressed the importance of emotional balance. He believed that every virtue lies between two extremes, neither in excess nor in deficiency. This is called the Golden Mean. Examples. Courage lies between recklessness and cowardice. Patience lies between apathy and impulsiveness. The same applies to emotional regulation. You shouldn't completely suppress your feelings, which could lead to explosive outbursts later, nor should you let them run unchecked, which causes chaos. Instead, acknowledge, observe, and guide your emotions with awareness. Practical ways to build emotional resilience. Stoic style. Emotional journaling. Spend 5 minutes each day writing down what you felt, why you felt it, and how you reacted. This helps you recognize patterns and improve over time. Practice premeditatio malorum. This Stoic technique involves mentally preparing for possible negative outcomes, so when they actually happen, you're emotionally equipped to face them. Separate event from emotion. When something happens, remind yourself, this is just an event. My emotion comes from how I interpret it. Pause and breathe before reacting. When emotions run high, simply stop and take 3 deep breaths. That brief pause gives you the space to choose a thoughtful response instead of an impulsive reaction. Emotional resilience is not an innate gift. It's a skill that can be strengthened day by day. By practicing self-awareness, rational response, and emotional balance, you become more grounded and unshaken in the face of life's turmoil. Stoic philosophy teaches us no one can hurt you unless you allow them to. So take ownership of your emotions. Build your inner strength so that each hardship doesn't break you, but instead makes you stronger and freer than ever before. 6. Memento Mori, remember death to live more fully. In Western culture, the Latin phrase Memento Mori carries profound weight. Remember that you will die. It may sound grim, but in the philosophy of Stoicism, reflecting regularly on death is not a morbid practice. It's a way to live more meaningfully, freely, and with greater focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, the renowned philosopher king of Rome, once wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Memento Mori, not to instill fear, but to awaken you. Stoicism doesn't urge us to remember death in order to sink into sorrow or fear. On the contrary, it views awareness of death as a powerful wake-up call. When we realize that our time is limited, every moment becomes more precious. When we accept that one day we will leave this life, we're driven to live more deeply, more kindly, and more bravely, instead of wasting life on trivial worries or endlessly postponing our dreams. Practicing Memento Mori helps you face unavoidable truths with courage, fear, failure, and loss less, live with more authenticity and urgency each day. Death, the greatest teacher of priorities. Are you delaying saying I love you to someone dear? Are you putting off your dreams for fear of failure? Are you letting small frustrations obscure your bigger goals? When you confront the fact that every passing day is one less in your life, you begin to ask yourself, is this truly important to me? Is this how I want to spend the precious moments I have left? Am I living in alignment with my values? If the answer is no, Memento Mori encourages you to make a change. Today, not tomorrow. How to practice Memento Mori first. Start your day by reflecting on life's brevity. When you wake up, remind yourself that life is finite. Today could be your last chance to love, contribute, and enjoy. Second, end your day with gratitude. Before sleeping, take a few minutes to reflect. How did I live today? If today had been my last day, would I be content with how I spent it? Third, face the fear of loss. Stoicism teaches us not to cling to anything, money, status, or even loved ones, as if we'll have them forever. Instead, we're encouraged to love and appreciate them even more deeply, precisely because everything is temporary. Fourth, let Memento Mori guide your daily decisions. When faced with a choice between safety and courage, between comfort and growth, ask yourself, if I had only a short time left to live, what would I choose? Marcus Aurelius, living each day as if it were the last. Marcus Aurelius didn't just write about Memento Mori, he lived by it. In meditations, he regularly reminded himself, don't act as if you had 1,000 years to live. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. This isn't a call to live recklessly or in despair. It's a call to live with mindfulness, clear priorities, and full-hearted presence. Memento Mori helps you love life more, not fear it. When practiced wisely, Memento Mori leads to greater appreciation for the little things: a meal, a smile, a simple conversation; greater ease in forgiving others and yourself; the courage to pursue passions, knowing there's no perfect time but now; a deeper kindness, because every action might be the legacy you leave behind. Memento Mori isn't a threat, it's a gentle, loving reminder to stay awake, to remember that death is coming, not to scare you, but to teach you how to truly live. In today's busy world, pausing daily to reflect on life's impermanence may be one of the most courageous and wise acts you can do. Remember, you can't control when you will leave this life, but you can control how you live today. And today, like every day, is a beautiful gift if you truly choose to cherish it. 7. Practicing gratitude, the key to happiness and inner peace. In the pursuit of happiness, many believe the answer lies in having more. More money, more achievements, more relationships. But great philosophers from ancient Greece, such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, and Aristotle, pointed to a different path. True happiness doesn't come from acquiring more, but from appreciating what we already have. Marcus Aurelius, the renowned Stoic emperor, once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." These simple reminders hold a profound truth. Each day we are alive as a gift, and being aware of that is the foundation of gratitude. Seneca and Epictetus shared this view, believing that gratitude not only helps us value life, but also acts as a powerful mental remedy to face adversity. Even Aristotle, one of the greatest philosophers of the West, emphasized that the virtue of gratitude is a core element of a fulfilled and happy life. Why is gratitude so important? In a world full of comparison and pressure, it's easy to feel lacking, as if we're never enough. When we focus only on what we don't have, our mind stays trapped in a state of scarcity, anxiety, and fatigue. In contrast, gratitude brings us back to the present, helping us realize that despite all the challenges, there are countless blessings already present in our lives. Moreover, modern science has confirmed that practicing gratitude daily improves mental health, reduces stress, enhances social bonds, and even improves sleep quality. People who cultivate gratitude tend to be more optimistic, find greater meaning in life, and build stronger, more resilient relationships. How can you practice gratitude every day? You don't need to do anything grand. Just spend a few minutes each day writing down at least 3 things you're grateful for. No matter how small, it could be a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a call from an old friend, or simply the sunlight shining through your window. Even in the hardest times, when it feels like there's nothing to be thankful for, look closer. Maybe you still have the health to move forward, a loved one by your side, or simply the ability to hope. Finding even the tiniest things to be thankful for helps shift your mind from a negative to a more positive state. Simple suggestions to get started. Keep a gratitude journal and write in it each night before bed. Send a sincere thank you to someone who has helped you. When something unpleasant happens, ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Practice gratitude meditation by focusing your mind on what you currently have, connecting through gratitude. Gratitude not only strengthens your relationship with yourself, it deepens your connection with others. When you show appreciation for those around you, you plant the seeds of trust, respect, and love, essential foundations for any lasting relationship. Ultimately, gratitude is not about forcing yourself to put a positive spin on everything. It's a deeper way of seeing the world, one that allows you to recognize light even in the darkest days. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, each day we are alive is a privilege. And when we live with gratitude, every moment, no matter how small, becomes a miracle. 8. Pursuing personal excellence, the journey to becoming your best self. In today's world, where success is often measured by fame, wealth, or status, it's easy to get swept up in the endless race for external validation. However, Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus taught that the path to true excellence doesn't lie in chasing society's expectations. It begins with living in alignment with your own moral values. Excellence is an inner journey. According to Stoic philosophy, each of us has a responsibility to build our own personal standards, based on values like integrity, perseverance, courage, and wisdom. Personal excellence isn't about defeating others. It's about defeating the self, becoming a better version of who we were yesterday. Marcus Aurelius, in his famous journal Meditations, emphasized that we should live each day in a way that honors our conscience, regardless of praise or criticism from others. He reminded us, be content if you have acted in accordance with the nature of a good human being. That is the essence of personal excellence. Set standards from within, not from outside. One of the most common mistakes is allowing society to dictate how we should live. Expectations around careers, money, or status can often lead us away from our true selves, resulting in feelings of emptiness and confusion. Seneca once warned, if a man does not know to what port he is steering, no wind is favorable. Setting life standards based on personal values gives us clarity and direction, helping us stay grounded amid temptations and pressures. You don't need to be the richest, the most famous, or the most powerful. You just need to be true to yourself and stand firm in the values you believe in. Growth mindset: failure is not the end. On the journey to personal excellence, failure is inevitable. However, with a growth mindset, we can transform setbacks into stepping stones for growth. Epictetus taught, it's not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Failure is simply a chance to learn and improve. The excellent person is not the one who has never fallen, but the one who gets back up each time, stronger and more resilient. Each challenge, each failure is a valuable lesson. By persevering through adversity, we steadily develop inner strength and build genuine confidence, the kind that isn't shaken by circumstances or judgments from others. Live authentically and take pride in your journey. A life of excellence doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be authentic. Living true to yourself, facing your weaknesses, and having the courage to keep moving forward even when the path is difficult, that's the true beauty of personal growth. Be proud of your journey, even if it's filled with twists, doubts, or failures. Every experience you go through is shaping you into a stronger, deeper, more capable version of yourself. As Seneca once said, no mountain is too high to climb if you never stop walking. Excellence is not a destination, but the process of faithfully living your values day in and day out. A journey no one can walk for you. Pursuing personal excellence is a deeply personal and irreplaceable journey. No one else can walk it for you. It's the choice you make every day. To be honest instead of deceitful, to persist instead of quit, to be kind instead of indifferent. When you focus on being better than you were yesterday, you begin to touch true freedom. Freedom from judgment, expectations, and pressure from the outside world. And in that space of meaning and purpose, success will naturally follow, as the organic result of a life fully lived. 9. Living authentically. Finding value from within. In today's world, where social media and mass media are flooded with standards of success and happiness, it's all too easy to get caught in the whirlwind of seeking validation from others. A look of admiration, a compliment, or even a like on social media can inadvertently become the measure of our self-worth. However, Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus long emphasized that a person's true value does not come from external approval, but from their inner character and actions. Self-worth does not need to be proven. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do not let the noise of others' opinions drown out your inner voice." This reminder is more timely than ever. Stoicism teaches that each person has intrinsic value that does not depend on how the world perceives or judges them. If you live your life solely to please others, you'll be endlessly swept up in unattainable expectations and never truly feel whole. Seneca also pointed out, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. When you understand that your value doesn't stem from applause, admiration, or awards, you will achieve a profound freedom. Freedom from the chains of judgment and the freedom to live an authentic life. Focus on your actions and virtues. In Stoic philosophy, the only thing you can truly control is your own actions and attitude. Epictetus taught that instead of worrying about what others think, we should focus on living with virtues: honesty, courage, compassion, and patience. You cannot control the emotions or thoughts of others, but you can always choose to act in a way that makes you proud. Doing the right thing, regardless of whether it's acknowledged or criticized, is the firmest foundation for building true self-worth. Practice self-reflection, the courage to face yourself. One of the most powerful tools in Stoicism is self-reflection. Marcus Aurelius made it a nightly practice to ask himself, did I live in accordance with my values today? Was I honest, patient, and kind? Self-reflection allows us to look at ourselves clearly, not to judge, but to grow. It requires courage, the willingness to confront weaknesses and mistakes, not to deny or criticize ourselves, but to continue improving. Embrace imperfection and seek balance. Living authentically doesn't mean being perfect. On the contrary, it means accepting imperfection as a natural part of being human. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not expect the world to be perfect. Love it as it is." The same applies to how we view ourselves. When you accept your own flaws, you become gentler with yourself and more forgiving toward others. You also become more capable of receiving feedback with clarity, recognizing what's helpful for growth without letting criticism shake your belief in your inherent worth. The balance between feedback and self-authority is an art, knowing how to learn from others without losing yourself, and how to listen without being swept away by others' judgments. Returning to yourself, living authentically is a journey, not a destination. Every day gives us a chance to practice it, to act according to our values rather than chasing recognition, to choose honesty over pretense, to take pride in our own path instead of comparing it with others. When you live true to yourself, you'll feel a quiet inner strength, a strength no one can take from you, no matter what praise or criticism comes from the outside world. And in that moment, you are living the most free, complete, and meaningful life possible. 10. Embracing change, the Stoic art of living. If there's one certainty in life, it's this: everything changes. People change, environments shift, circumstances evolve, and we ourselves are constantly transforming over time. Yet, instead of resisting change with fear and anxiety, Stoic philosophy teaches us to embrace it as a natural part of life and to see it as an opportunity for growth. Change is inevitable. In his profound meditations, Marcus Aurelius reminded us, change is the nature of the universe. To resist change is to resist the laws of nature. Everything in existence, from majestic mountains to morning dew, is in a constant state of transformation. Rather than complain or resist, the Stoic learns to accept change as an essential element of life. Seneca also wrote, "Nothing lasts forever, not even pain." This is not only a comforting thought, but also a reminder that hardship, failure, and sorrow all eventually pass. When we understand that change is unavoidable, we stop fearing it and start recognizing every shift as a natural part of the journey. Flexibility and adaptation. Virtue in action. In Stoic philosophy, flexibility does not mean compromising one's values, but rather having the wisdom to adapt gracefully to shifting circumstances. An old oak tree may snap in a storm, but a bamboo stalk that bends with the wind will remain standing. Marcus Aurelius taught that a virtuous person adjusts to changes, rather than stubbornly demanding that the world conform to their expectations. Flexibility is a sign of inner strength and wisdom, the ability to remain resilient without losing one's core integrity. Focus on what you can control. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is clearly distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. We cannot control external changes, job transitions, health issues, relationships, or even the weather, but we can always control our own attitude and response. Epictetus said, "It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." When faced with change, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I do with this situation?" This simple shift in perspective opens up immense personal power, the power to shape your experience actively rather than passively endure it. Practice mindfulness. Fully live each moment. To embrace change with calm acceptance, mindfulness is a powerful tool. Mindfulness brings greater awareness of the present moment, allowing us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When we are fully present with ourselves, We can watch change unfold without reacting hastily or emotionally. Take a few minutes each day to be still. Focus on your breath, observe your wandering thoughts, and gently return your attention to the present. Over time, you'll realize that even as the world shifts around you, there is a quiet, steady center within you that remains intact. Find lessons within change. Every change, even those initially marked by pain or loss, carries hidden lessons. A broken relationship can teach us how to love more maturely. A career failure may open the door to discovering talents we never knew we had. A health crisis can awaken a deeper appreciation for life's precious moments. Seneca once wrote, "Difficulties are not obstacles, but the path to growth." When we shift our perspective, every challenge becomes a chance to cultivate wisdom, strengthen resilience, and expand our understanding of life. Live like water, flexible, yet true to essence. To accept and embrace change is not to abandon our dreams or let life sweep us away. It's about living like water, knowing when to yield and when to push forward. Keeping the heart soft enough not to shatter under pressure, yet firm in holding on to one's core values. When you no longer fear change, you discover a deeper kind of freedom. The freedom to evolve, to explore, and to live fully as your truest self, regardless of how the world around you may transform. 11. Nurturing compassion and empathy, the source of a meaningful life amidst the noise, competition, and fast-paced rhythm of modern life. Compassion and empathy seem to have become rare qualities. However, for great Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, kindness is not just a beautiful virtue, but the essential foundation for building a life of virtue and meaning. Compassion, the core of a virtuous life. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor of ancient Rome, reminded himself and others, humans are born to help one another, like feet and hands, like eyelids and teeth. From a Stoic perspective, we are not isolated individuals, but part of a deeply interconnected community. It is compassion, the ability to place ourselves in others' shoes, that serves as the bridge to build a harmonious society and help perfect ourselves. Seneca also wrote, "No one can live happily without living wisely, kindly, and fairly, and no one can do so without compassion for others." Kindness, according to him, is not just a spontaneous act, but a way of life, a conscious daily choice to treat everyone we encounter with kindness. Practicing deep listening. One of the most practical ways to nurture compassion is through practicing deep listening. Instead of listening to respond, we learn to listen to understand. Listening is not just with the ears, but with the heart, paying attention to emotions, unspoken words, and the deeper needs beneath the surface. Epictetus reminded us, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen more than we speak. When you are truly present in a conversation, without judgment or rushing to offer advice, you give the other person a precious gift, the feeling of being acknowledged, understood, and from this, you build deeper connections. Kind acts every day. Compassion is not just about empathy, it must be transformed into action. A gentle word of encouragement, a small gesture of help, or even a warm glance can make a significant difference in someone else's life. Marcus Aurelius advised that every morning, remind yourself, "Today I will meet arrogant, envious, selfish people, but that is their nature. I will not let them harm my own compassionate nature." No matter what the world brings, the choice to be kind remains in our hands, building connections through support and care. We often think that happiness comes from achieving personal accomplishments, but in reality, many modern studies, as well as ancient wisdom, show that the most lasting happiness comes from meaningful relationships. When you support others, when you help ease someone's pain or bring joy to their life, you too receive deep joy. Seneca said, "We are born for one another like the bricks of a wall. If one brick is removed, the wall will collapse." Compassion not only helps others, but it also helps us build a life with a stronger foundation. Compassion begins with ourselves, and another important point emphasized by Stoic philosophers. In order to truly love and understand others, we first need to learn to be compassionate with ourselves. This doesn't mean indulging ourselves, but treating ourselves with kindness, forgiving our mistakes, being patient with our growth process, and not using harsh words to judge ourselves. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve the world, start by improving yourself." When you are full of compassion for yourself, you will naturally radiate warmth to those around you. Living with an open heart, in a world with countless reasons to become cold-hearted, those who choose to live with compassion are the bravest. By listening, understanding, and acting kindly each day, you not only make others' lives better, but you also make your own life richer and more meaningful. Living with compassion is not a grand, one-time action, but thousands of small, persistent acts every day. And in each of these moments, we gradually become the best versions of ourselves. 12. Practicing self-reflection and review. The secret to living consciously through the Stoic spirit. In a constantly fast-paced world, pausing to reflect on oneself seems like a luxury. Yet for Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, self-reflection was not just an intellectual exercise, but a daily ritual, an essential act to maintain a virtuous life and navigate one's inner compass. Self-reflection, a mirror that illuminates the soul. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations often recorded honest assessments of himself. He did not shy away from acknowledging his faults, negative thoughts, or lack of patience. By sincerely examining himself, Marcus not only recognized what needed improvement, but also cultivated gratitude for small daily progress. Seneca also encouraged evaluating oneself each night before sleep. He once wrote, "When night falls, I question myself. Did I act rightly today? What did I do well? What did I not do well? What can I do better tomorrow?" Through these simple routines, the Stoic philosophers emphasize that personal growth is not accidental, but the result of daily awareness and intentional training. How to practice daily self-reflection. Self-reflection doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Just a few minutes each day can be effective by asking simple questions. What did I do well today? What can I improve? Did I act in line with my values? What am I grateful for today? Writing these thoughts down in a small journal not only helps you track your progress, but also reveals blind spots that are hard to notice amidst daily busyness. Epictetus reminds us, no man can progress without daily self-examination. Self-reflection is the mirror that helps us see more clearly the habits, biases, and limitations we unconsciously maintain. Gratitude, connecting with the positive side of life. An important part of self-reflection is practicing gratitude. Amid efforts to better ourselves, we often focus too much on what we haven't achieved and forget the good that already exists. Seneca emphasized, "No one is happy who does not appreciate what they have." Therefore, during your reflections, always take time to acknowledge small successes, meaningful relationships, and valuable lessons, whether they come from failures or everyday moments. Gratitude helps you maintain emotional balance, nurture a positive outlook, and create lasting motivation for personal development. Self-reflection, a tool to recalibrate your life. The world changes every day, and so do we. Without regular self-reflection, it's easy to drift with busy lifestyles, chase social expectations, or lose ourselves in shallow goals. Self-reflection serves as an inner compass, helping you reorient your direction. What values are you living by? Are you becoming the person you wish to be? Do your daily choices truly reflect your life's ideals? Through frequent examination, you can actively adjust before straying too far from the path you truly desire. Self-reflection is an act of maturity. Practicing self-reflection is not about harsh self-judgment, but an act of love and commitment to oneself. It is a quiet declaration. I value my life enough to live it more consciously each day. Just like a gardener tends their land, a Stoic tends their soul with awareness, gratitude, and a persistent will to grow. And day by day, through these small steps, we move closer to the best version of ourselves, not through force, but through the freedom of choice. Living a life of purpose and integrity, the core spirit of Stoicism. In today's ever-changing and distracting world, maintaining a life of purpose and integrity is more important than ever. Stoicism, through the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, is not merely an abstract philosophical system, but a practical compass that helps us face challenges, make wise decisions, and find peace amidst the chaos of everyday life. Personal purpose, the source of inner strength. One of the core messages of Stoicism is to live in alignment with your personal purpose, rather than drifting with others' expectations or superficial temptations. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, do what your nature requires of you, meaning live in accordance with the best version of yourself. Purpose doesn't have to be grand, like changing the world or achieving great fame. Sometimes it's simply the commitment to honesty, kindness, or staying true to the values you believe in. When you identify your true purpose, every choice you make, even the smallest, becomes meaningful. Integrity. Living as someone you're proud of. Integrity is not just about keeping promises to others, but also about keeping promises to yourself. Epictetus emphasized that a person's virtue is not measured by what they say, but by what they do. A person of integrity acts consistently with their inner values, even when no one is watching. In a society where reputation, material success, and external validation often overshadow moral character, living with integrity requires great courage. But through that, you build unshakable self-respect, a kind of inner strength that cannot be swayed by praise or criticism from others. Facing challenges with steadfastness. Life is never short of trials, failure, loss, betrayal, injustice. Stoicism teaches us that while external circumstances are beyond our control, how we respond to them is entirely within our power. Seneca once wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." When you live with clear purpose and integrity, you face adversity with resilience, not complaining, not panicking, but calmly seeking solutions, or simply accepting what cannot be changed. External recognition, a test of inner steadiness. Living by personal ideals means accepting that you won't always receive approval or praise from others. Sometimes acting with integrity may even bring misunderstanding, disadvantage, or loneliness. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, your happiness depends upon your thoughts. When you stop evaluating your worth through others' eyes or opinions, you become truly free. Free to live by your own ideals, free to walk your own path without losing yourself in the noise of the crowd. A life worth living. Living a life of purpose and integrity is not an easy path, but it is the only one that leads to inner peace, genuine pride, and a sense of fulfillment when you look back on your journey. Stoicism doesn't demand perfection. It invites you to try every moment, to live more honestly, more mindfully, and more steadfastly in the values you believe are right. In each small action, in each daily decision, you are writing the story of your life. Live a life that, when you look back, allows you to smile and say, I live true to my heart and my ideals.